Chris Martin says that the Tontons, oh gosh, here we go. So this is new. The Tontons and Austin wait. One of the things that I always get confused about is like, it's so confusing to me. So like if we look at, first let's just make sure we're like all talking about the same thing here. Because one of the things that I get so confused about, it's gotten confusing because there's Austin FSU, right? Which is a completely different team than Austin Notorious, right? So there's Austin Notorious that play in the NXL, and then there's Austin FSU that play in Europe. But if we go back here, Austin Notorious and Tontons Forever have merged to form a new U.S. pro team, Tauntaun FSU. Austin Notorious had this to say: Diego Santos and Mark Franz are excited to announce the merge of Austin Notorious and the European powerhouse Toulouse Tauntauns to create the USA NXL Pro Team, Tauntaun FSU. Combining Tauntaun's European Championship pedigree with Austin Notorious' grit and determination, the partnership is excited to add another elite level team to the pro division. The Tauntauns organization had this to say: we are proud and excited to announce our entry into the highest level of competitive paintball. As passionate competitors, we will always pursue ambitious goals that have driven us for years. The dream would never have come true without the unwavering support of Mark Franz and Diego Santos, who dedication has. I'm all over the place. I'm like trying to like think and read at the same time, and it's not freaking working. Tauntauns, if the Tauntauns come play in the U.S., if they have like their five guys kind of mix with the five guys from Notorious or whatever, are the Tauntauns still going to play in Europe? I mean, I would assume they still play in Europe as well. If you guys don't know the Diego saga, Diego started the Latin Saints. I've even lost track. When did he start the Latin Saints? Like 3 years ago. Picked up all the very good players and just kind of like didn't pay anyone, and it kind of imploded, which is just crazy. This happened today. Some more moves. Chris Shear, you see right there on the left, formerly of San Diego Dynasty, got picked up or added to the Tampa Bay Damage roster, along with C.J. Cantor, formerly of New York Extreme. And, these two additions to the team are likely a response to them losing Rainey. Rainey Stanczak went over to Edmonton Impact. He was part of that big 4-person Impact pickup. So kind of rebolstering or adding two very good players in place of Rainey. Whether either of these two guys can kind of pick up that slack that Rainey left, we'll see. It's definitely good for Damage to like increase their Dorito side. I feel like Chad Boucher for a long time was their Dorito attacker guy. But then maybe, putting Chris Shear over there instead of Chad. Chad's getting a little older, and I feel like Chris is probably better than him now. With Jacob Edwards behind him, should be very good. And then CJ Cantor kind of plays all over the place. I mean, he's kind of in the center, I think we see more often, but he's kind of a utility-ish player that can play kind of everywhere. He's played for a handful of teams, but most recently, he spent the last 4 years with New York Extreme. And those are the actual pickups. So we'll see. Chris Shear is a very good player. So, yeah. we'll see. I mean, damage is obviously very good. So just increasing the firepower that they have should be very good. And why not? Arsenal. Baltimore Revo. Baltimore Revo, you know, I didn't look up how long Revo have been pro, but I want to say Revo have been probably playing pro for 10-ish years or so. And it kind of fit the classical thing. They come into the league and they're not very good. Get consistently better. Revo, with their original core of guys, you know, kind of got to probably like 8th, you know, 7th, 10th places a lot. Then last year, Tom 4 is a, I don't know, owner, paintball owner guy, purchased Revo, and with really intention to try to like make the team better. That's why kind of Revo had a different roster this year than they've had in the past. But he's going to change the name from Baltimore Revo to Arsenal, probably DC Arsenal if they do put a city on it. Arsenal was a pro team that Tom did have for quite a few years. Arsenal had a lot of players on their roster. I mean, we think back to like many of the superstar players now. At one point played for Arsenal, but they never really had an extremely consistent roster. We see a really old video here. San Diego NPPL. I'm pretty sure it's got to be San Diego. Dynasty and Arsenal. But Arsenal predominantly playing 7-man in the NPPL. They did win 3 tournaments in 2009, though, but never really a very consistent roster. You see JC Weddington right there. JC actually played for them for a very long time. But Revo going back to Arsenal is kind of cool, I guess. You know, I don't know. It's kind of fun to see that Arsenal name come back. But at the same time, it makes it very difficult for fans, right? I mean, if you're a Revo fan, what are you going to do now? I mean, if you're from the Baltimore area and you've been a fan of Revo for, 20 years, or maybe not 20, but, 10 years, now they're changing their name, which I don't know. Yeah, we might as well talk about Infamous. Infamous actually added these players last week. Sorry about the audio again. They actually added them to the roster like right when we were going live, so we kind of missed it. But they've added Zach Geiger. You know what I found out about Zach Geiger? Zach Geiger is on the right-hand side there. He first played pro in 2011 with Omaha Vicious. And then didn't play pro again until 2020, which is crazy. So he played one tournament pro and then took a 10-year break and then came back, which is weird. But did spend a very long time, not a very long time. He played with NRG for a year, played last year with Revo, played last year with the Ironmen and played with Revo for a bit. Geiger is... I was trying to look up to see like predominantly where he plays, but I feel that like I normally see him on the snake side or kind of in the center. Sometimes I feel like he'll be the first guy into the snake, maybe he's second into the snake, or he'll run, the center 50 off the break or something like that. He's very athletic and just a really athletic player. I think that hopefully that's something Infamous can benefit from. I think like they added Sam Sealberg on Infamous. Not added, he's been with the team for a while. He's another athletic player that I think's really kind of helped them out. So hopefully Zach Geiger can help Infamous. And they also got Trevor Reeser back. Trevor Reeser played with Infamous from 2015 to through the 2017 season. So he spent 3 years there. Spent 4 years with Impact, but it's good to see Trevor Reeser back. And that kind of answers our question about Impact as well. Impact picking up all of those goddamn guys. Did I delete my Impact notes? Impact loads up. I want to make sure. Impact, adding Alex Goldman, adding Rainey, adding Harmon, and Marcelo. It's just, there's a ton of guys on that roster. So it makes sense that Reeser is going to go back over to Infamous. Breaking news. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to get there. Breaking news. Pat Kraft, Ironmen. Which is cool. I mean, Pat Kraft's already obviously very good. I mean, is he the best New York Extreme player? I don't know. Easily one of the top 5 players in New York Extreme. And New York Extreme getting relegated down to the semi-pro division. Yeah, you're going to have to find places for guys. So, like, even if some of the guys want to continue to play on New York Extreme in the semi-pro division, they just can't, you know? There's too many pro guys. You just can't fill out that roster. You can only have, like, 1 or 2 or something. You can't have, 12 guys that are pro on a semi-pro roster. So they've got to find spots. And the Ironmen were sure going to need people. The Ironmen, like we said earlier, lost Zach Geiger. And I want to look at that roster. So this was their World Cup roster. Are we going to see Keith DeVitt? I don't know. Keith DeVitt will probably stay with the Ironmen if he continues to play. Mitch Fidley, he played really well, actually. Zach Geiger is gone, though. Is Tom Guest going to stay with the Ironmen? I don't know who that is. Kyle Nicolau, he's very good. Stephen O'Mara's gone. Stephen O'Mara is going to go back to Revo. Henry Stentz, I don't know what Henry Stentz is going to do. Could we also see Stentz going back to Revo? I mean, he spent, forever with Revo. I mean, look at all this Revo. It's like the beginning of Revo. So the Ironmen are going to need players, that's for sure. I mean, they're definitely going to need bodies. So, adding Pat Kraft, seems to make sense to me. A rumor has it Houston Heat have been underperforming. I shouldn't say rumor has it. I think that all these teams, all the teams that are in the top 10, if you're not winning tournaments, you're underperforming. Like Damage, if they're not winning every tournament, they're underperforming. If you're Dynasty and you're not winning every tournament, you're underperforming. If you're Heat, everyone, all these teams, that's the only purpose is to win all the tournaments. And that's Texas so small I can't see it. And we've seen that with Houston Heat. Why does it say 7 of 7? Oh yeah, they got the bye. That was weird. And it's like that with Houston Heat. Look, they got last place at World Cup. I don't think it's not like they're that bad though. A 6th, a 5th, a 5th. It's not like catastrophic. But the word on the street is it's getting blown up. I wouldn't say all blown up, but people are moving around. A lot's happened. We saw Connor Kelly. Connor Kelly went over to fucking so many people have moved teams. Connor Kelly went over to Aftershock. Connor Kelly was, I don't want to say one of the better players in the team, but has been playing really well and was one of the more like up-and-comer good players. I'm going to watch the chat. We're going to see if anyone says anything crazy. Tyler Harmon's gone. Tyler Harmon, obviously, a big piece of any team he's been on the last 20 years. Saw a picture the other day of Tyler when he was 11 years old playing pro. I was like, God damn it, I remember that. It made all us that were like 18 feel like idiots. I'm like, this little 12-year-old's out there? Yeah, so who knows what's happening here? I think that a lot could happen. I think there's rumor that Ronnie Dizon is possibly going to go play somewhere else, possibly go to Aftershock. There's rumors about the Russians going somewhere. It's possible that Mishka and Konstantin Fedorov rejoin Russian Legion, although I think it'd be kind of weird because there was a whole debacle where Sergey, this isn't like breaking news. I feel weird talking about this, but, I didn't do it. Sergey stole a bunch of money from people on his team. That's why he got kicked off Houston Heat, I guess. So it's weird that, I don't know, I find it weird he's even playing. I can't imagine, like, I don't know, if it really happened and he stole, stuff from, like money from his teammates, that's kind of crazy to even, like, get picked up by another team. So I don't know. But it'd be very weird for them to kind of, like, hook back up. I don't know. AC Diesel, I seem to remember This is last year for AC Diesel. Like, they don't put, like, Go Sports or whatever. They didn't, like, put anything on YouTube, really, for AC. I seem to remember AC Diesel, Mark Johnson, owner of AC Diesel, saying that he wanted to kind of, like, commit to a 2-year plan. And said that he would, he wanted to try the team for 2 years and see what happens. I believe that's correct. And we are at that 2-year mark. And, it didn't go that well for Diesel. Diesel averaged a 13th place over that 2 years. So with their highest place, I believe they got, what did they get, like 4th at World Cup this year? Played really 5th, I don't know. Played really well at World Cup, though. Easily their best year. But they have lost players. So even if the team decides to, continue and Mark Johnson continues with the team, they're still down people. Alex Goldman's gone, went back over to Impact. They lost Cody Mikowski right before World Cup when he decided to go over to Revo. We had Justin Rubikoff. Justin Rabikoff left the beginning or late last year to go play with Russian Legion. And they really haven't added guys, right? They haven't changed their roster much. I think we've seen really good play out of guys like that. No, that's Alex. Out of BJ Henningberg, they look so similar. Yeah. BJ, seen very good play out of him. Also, Clint Johnson's also been playing well. But is that good enough? I don't know. It's very possible that they, like, tone back the roster and don't pay all these big, huge guys. Like, is Kyle Spica going to remain on the team? Or are we going to see them kind of blow the whole thing up? AC Diesel, we don't know.